Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora from the channel The Awakening Path. And today I have a very special guest with us. His name is Shahin Jedian. You're gonna learn a little bit more about him just in a little while. He'll be joining us a little bit late. So in the meanwhile, I'm gonna introduce you to my website. Many of you already know that I am an energy healer through Reiki, but my healing is not only about Reiki. I use the principles of A Course in Miracles. I also connect with the angels, archangels, higher self, through channeling, intuitively, and also automatic writing. So when you have a session with me, we're going to treat not only the dysfunction that you already are experiencing, but we're also going to work on change those limited beliefs that are causing the dysfunction in a way that are going to shift your perception and start creating the life that you want. So, would you like to see a little bit of my website while my guests arrive? Let me go there. That's what you're going to see when you look at my website, theawakeningpath.me. And all my work I do in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. That's mean if you prefer to use my services in Portuguese, you just click on the Brazilian flag. If it's Spanish, click on the Spanish flag. So let's say you are very new to these alternative healing modalities. You have no idea what it is. To experience, you just need to click here, Distant Reiki. I have some Reiki sessions. They are sample sessions that are completely free. They are also available at YouTube, but you can also watch them from here. They are pre-recorded Reiki sessions, a sample of them. There is one here for you to help you with sleep, relax, release negative energy from your body, to release stress, and then one to heal each one of the chakras. Experience at least for 7 days, and then let me know if it will work or not for you. Everybody that has used my service, maximum in 3 days, they can see a lots of improvements in many aspects. Right away, they already feel more peace. They get more clarity. So it's very, very interesting. If you are new, that's the place you want to go. Let's go back to the home page. I'm just buying time until my guest arrive because he'll be a little bit late. And I have a welcome video. And I think my guest is about to come, so I stop sharing my screen. I'll just let him know that he can get in. Yeah, he's ready to log in. So let me start to introduce you my guest. His name is Shahin Jedian, and he is a perfect example of I think he needs more 5 minutes, but I can start introducing him. He is the perfect balance of the right and the left side of the brain. That means that he is highly spiritual. He is really in touch with the higher self, his higher self, and all his spirit guides and all the universe, let's say. But he did that without lose touch with the 3D reality that we are on. And he was able to balance and get success in both, carry on both sides. His spiritual abilities, but at the same time, being successful in his business. And the work he's doing right now is helping people like me, for example, that was working on the matrix. People that came here for this time, star seeds, light workers, there is many names, that for until now have been working in many industries, doing all sorts of things. But suddenly we had that wake up and we realized that's not why I came here for. There is something else that I'm supposed to be doing. Can be as a healer, can be as a psychic, can be any type of light work. And then sometimes you try to carry on your mission along with the 3D matrix. 8 to 5 job is a very, very hard thing to do, because your soul is asked you to be full-time on this. But at the same time, you need to sustain your 3D body. So that's what that means. You need to generate an income. And there is a lot of barriers to do that. Mental barriers, limited beliefs that say you should not charge for spiritual work. Things that are given for you for free, you cannot charge. For example, I'm not charging for the energy when you have a Reiki session with me, because the energy is for free. But I'm charging for my time, because if I don't charge for my time, I will have to work in another thing to sustain myself. And then instead of help more people, I will be able to help less people. So that's the work of Shahin. He's helping those people like me to really embrace their mission and connect to the people that really can benefit from their service, understand, and are happy to exchange the energy in a healthy and beneficial way for both parts. And then you say, oh, but and then if you are charging for all your services and you only help people that can pay. No, that's why I created those Reiki, the free distant Reiki. You can go there and experience for free, and it's really work. Even though our sample sessions, my sessions take about 45 minutes, the sample is between 15 and 20, but you can really heal your chakras if you do it. What's the difference of a full session and a sample? On the full session, you're going to take care not only of your chakra, for example, You release, align all your chakras at the same time. You're gonna balance your aura. You're gonna send energy to your loved ones. You will clean the negative energies from your house. You're gonna send positive vibrational energy to your neighborhood. You connect with the planet. And when you do private session, you are connected through me to your higher self that is constantly give you messages that's related to the healing that we are performing. You see, I'm offering for free too. Anyone can use my service and will have access to my service. Whoever wants to connect in a deeper way and think it can benefit from this connection, and then will be the ones that will exchange that energy. And then you say, oh, but I want to give you something. Since I did this root chakra alignment for 7 days, and I can see all the benefits that bring me. It improved my relationship with my family, with my mother, my husband, my sister, whatever. It helped me with that pain that was bothering me for years. And then just for you to leave a comment or to leave a testimony in the website or Google or whatever you can find me, that's a way to help. And I also accept a donation to support this work also. But in this case, what I give for free is free. You only do if you feel called to. Let me see what my guest is telling me. So he did ask for a little bit more minute. Let me just see. Let me send again the link to him. Just make sure he has the link, because it will be a wonderful conversation. Oh, he is just on the room. Perfect. So let me introduce you properly. Shahin Jedian. Shahin is an internationally renowned, sorry, my Portuguese accent sometimes is harder to pronounce some words, but he is an intuitive hypnotherapist, spiritual teacher, and author of 42 books, producer credit with crafting over 50 transformative self-help books, home study programs, and spiritual self-development. As the physical and spiritual descendant of the Temple of Solomon, Shahin possesses a unique gift that allows him to delve into the depths of ancient wisdom for the modern seeker. With his profound insights, he can help you explore your soul-code name. He's gonna give an example for us with my friend Sylvia that will join us later. So you can explore your so-called name, mission, career brand, unveiling the profound significance hidden within your being. So please welcome Shahin Jedian. Let's wait for him to connect. Hi, Shahin.
All right. Welcome to me
Welcome.
and welcome to you. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And today, my first interview, it's always about my guest. I wanted the public to get to know you today.
Right.
So the first question I ask to my guest is, how that happened to you? How has been your spiritual evolution so far?
How did
What
I get here?
you to do what you are doing today?
All right. That's a pretty vast question. I can definitely address it. I can address it, I guess, starting at some point. But one of the things I could say is that um, when I was around 18 to 19 years old, I started to feel that there's a deep emptiness inside me, and I felt that around the world. And I felt like there wasn't that many answers, and there wasn't as much of an environment that I can tap into that would support an environment of personal development. There was few people out there that were working on personal development, but I felt like, it's compared to what we have in the world, the amount of people that are bringing personal development is so little, it's like so minute compared to what could be. And I felt like my voice shrinking literally. And that's when I had an awakening of a journey that I need to tap into something. I need to do something for myself. I need to bring more light to myself to understand myself, and then bring that to other people, which was at a very unconscious level, not really able to express it at that age. Um, so my journey began with these doubts and these questions and these fears. And also living in Los Angeles, I came across one of the biggest fears that at least men have. I think women have it differently too. But one of the biggest fears was like, what are you gonna do with your future, your career? Because I knew deep inside me my future and my career had something to do with a deep level of transformation, but there was nowhere to support that. There was no place that would actually train you for that. There was no specific place where your voice of a transformative healer can come to life, even though I knew it deep inside. So it was just like basically having to follow the herd, go to university, go to college and take your courses and take your computer science course or take your maximum thing that was available was maybe psychology, closest thing to personal development, which was more theoretical, right? And it wasn't, you'd have to study for like 4 or 5 years just to be able to tap into something where you can actually feel something, and like connect with something. So these were all massive future blockages I was feeling at that moment. And so I took a leap and I went away from Los Angeles to Maryland with a friend who told me that there's a very powerful meditative study place where they're actually teaching it like a college style type of thing, and you can come with me for a few days and you could test drive it basically in a portion where they allow like you to like sample the element. And so I took this leap at 18. And when I was about to do it, it was my first time going away. And my family members, like literally, I think 200 people stopped by and they tried to stop me from going away and from actually leaving town. This is one of the things I learned, by the way, is that when you come up with something that's about to change your life, um, something powerful happens when you want to do that, where actually the resistors in your life, those who even care for you, who will say like, I'm concerned about you, they'll show up to kind of help you, but also block you, right? And until you find your ultimate voice of who you are and who you're meant to be, those blockages, those elements will be persisting until your voice becomes clear to yourself. So I took the leap and I went away and I was in a 4 to 5 year powerful meditative experience in a forest, literally with 800 people. But I was having a very different experience than everybody else because why I was there was very different. Everybody's why is the most important thing. And so I had this powerful awakening. It was around this time, actually, in May, in 1992 or 93, where I had this powerful awakening of revelations and things began to open up in me. And I started to experience a deep level of um, a calling to want to share wisdom and learn wisdom first of all, because I was in the ocean of wisdom and I was like, I had no idea what's flying. But after several years of learning that, a calling to be able to share this to the people. And so after many years of tapping in, and developing my relationship, having children, Right now, my oldest is 26. Um, but after tapping into all of that and developing family and forming the sensations of feeling life at that level, I started to co-create a very powerful movement along with video productions and personal development, where it led to where I am right now. Now that's a longer story that I can go into it, but just on a basic level, my biggest thing that I want to say is I felt a massive void. I felt like something has to be done, and I tried to make everybody else be the answer, and nobody was stepping up to be the answer until I realized I got to be the answer to myself.
That's beautiful. And many of us at this time is asking those questions. Why I'm here for? Is just to serve the matrix? Is that a big purpose for me? And some already had that answer, but and then, okay, well, what I do from now? I know that what I do makes the difference. I'm really in my purpose, but I still have a 3D body. What I do to sustain my to have an income and sustain me on that 3D reality, while my mind and my mission is kind of in a bridge between the 3, 4, and 5D.
That's right.
Give
That's right.
me, that was your example because you went through that yourself, that time of uncertainty. Should I just jump in and try to do that full time, or how I get guidance for that?
Yeah, I'll share a few stories about that. I think it's really powerful what you said. Thank you, Maria, for sharing that. That's a beautiful way of opening this up. And I really admire you for taking these steps for, hopping in and taking this to the next level. I really appreciate your energy. Um, what I could say is this, that when we set out, okay, the biggest voice inside our critical mind is that the thing that I have the most powerful talent in to do, to bring the gift that I have to bring to the world, it can't be that that will also help me succeed. That's one of the biggest critical voices in the head because we're so familiar with that gift, right? It's so part of us. I do it so naturally. You do it so naturally that we almost second guess ourselves. How could it be that that's something that I do so easily and naturally could actually also lead me to my ultimate voice and help me, sustain myself essentially, right? So the more familiar we are with our own gifts, the less excitement we feel about it because we are with ourselves all day long, right? Did you ever see two people fall in love and the guy or the girl, like, let's say, every time they look at each other, you're like, oh my God, you're so magnificent. It's incredible. And then the girl is like, what? I'm just being me, right? But the
Yeah,
guy,
I
can't,
felt that before.
right? Right? I'm sure we've all witnessed that, right?
Uh,
So we've either lived it or witnessed it, right? And for those who are watching the show and they can't relate to that, if you never felt those feelings, at least you've seen it in a movie or something, right? So the reason that that occurs is because the person that's being viewed is so used to their own abilities and looks and everything that they don't realize the power and the beauty that they have, right? And a lot of times, the reason older people that step into their age, like, after 40s, they start to realize their beauty. A lot of times, is the reason is because in their teens, people used to tell them, "Oh, you have this beautiful element in you," or "You're beautiful. Your face is like this." They don't realize it. In their 30s, they kind of realize it. In their 40s, when they start to lose a little bit, like maybe their skin changes, their body changes. In their 50s, maybe there's a little wrinkle. Then they're like, "Oh my God, I look back at my pictures and I was gorgeous," right? So something happens right there, right? So really, ultimately, I think all of mysticism leads down to one thing, and that is becoming conscious of what you already have, right? Becoming conscious of what you are, being, doing, having, all of those states, and that leads to prophecy, right? So it's simply said, but it is an everyday work of becoming conscious. It's like you have $1 trillion of diamonds, but you're not aware that it's there. If I tell you that, go ahead and go ahead and search for $1 trillion of diamonds, right? It could be anywhere. Go for it, right? You're not going to do it because there's too many the environment is too large. Where am I going to search, right? But if I tell you it's underneath the building, buried for sure on your address where you are, you will search, right? Why? Because now you have certainty. So certainty is the element right here. And the key to all spirituality is the certainty that I have a gold mine inside me. That's the first step, right? People tell me all the time, like, how can I become more successful? How could I tap into my ultimate self? How can I produce more money? How could I be more wealthy? How could I live a luxurious lifestyle that goes along with my spirit? How could I be my ultimate self? Whatever that is. Some people might not, maybe money's not their thing. Health is their thing. Relationships, whatever it is for you. But I'll talk about money because I think that in the past 10 years, we're living in an environment where a lot of people are struggling with this piece. So one of the things I always tell people is if you're not a millionaire, you can't be a millionaire. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, I'm trying to make money, but I obviously am not a millionaire, right? And I always tell them, no, if you're not a millionaire, you can't be a millionaire. And they're like, well, how do I do it? I'm like, well, you have to be a millionaire right now in order to become a billionaire or the next level of a million. And they're like, well, how do I do it? Well, here it is. Let's say, this is a dark example, but I think we can all get the hang of it if we can get past the dark part of it. Let's say if I were to, um, you know, if a friend of yours calls and says, "Listen, my child is going through a kidney transplant and they need a kidney, okay, and we're willing to give you $500,000 for your kidney," right? So you may or may not do it, okay, if it's a match, right? But the bottom line is that your kidney is worth $500,000 to another person, okay? Now, same is true for your heart and your leg and your, veins and your brain and your skin and all these different parts. So you're starting off a millionaire just being in your physical body, just having a physical body, okay? You're starting off a millionaire, okay? You have it's a trillion of you. I'm not even counting your soul and your intellect and your intuition, your third eye. I'm just counting the most physical part of you. Okay. So if you don't know that, okay, and if you think, for example, AI is smarter than you cannot become smarter or become a millionaire. Why? Because you have to know what you are in order to be able to attract more of that. Okay. Now, some people will be like, well, AI definitely calculates faster than me. Yes, it's true. AI definitely rearranges everything that we have given it faster than we do. Absolutely, right? But is AI more than you? The answer is absolutely not, because you got to get to know the unconscious, right? Your unconscious being. There's a book I've written. It's called Superpower. Also, the original version of it was called 42 Seeds to Bend Reality, which is more comprehensive. And in this book, I talk about 21 laws of the unconscious mind. And one of the laws of the unconscious mind is that the unconscious mind can process billions of information, billions of bits of information faster than AI, right? At an unconscious level, okay? But it just can't handle it at a conscious level that fast or at the same time, okay? So the question is, what if I make access to the unconscious part of my being, okay? I wrote and produced films on 42 books and thousands of guided meditations, all in the past 7 years. And some of them, like maybe 20 books, happened in 1 year, right? And the question is, and this was without the help of AI, right? So the question is, how? How, right? And the answer is, I'm not a genius, right? All I am is I'm going to tell you the three skills. One is I tapped into the unconscious part of me that knows all the answers. Okay. Two is that I realized that no matter how much I accomplish or bring out the essence of what I want to share with the world, if I don't drop comparisons to other people, right, I'm always going to feel horrible. Okay. So I learned to seclude myself many times to see exactly what's in front of me and focus just on the task at hand, nothing else. Okay. It's a big, big distractor. All the stuff that's happening online and other people are doing and the comparisons. And these are big distractors that don't allow us to see ourselves, because it's so much easier. Our eyes see forward. We see forward. It's hard to see inward. Right. So tapping into that, which includes seclusion sometimes, getting together with yourself in a space where you could truly focus, right? Having a space just for your purpose, where you tap it. I'm not talking about a space where you write in a notebook. I'm talking about literally also a physical environment where you go to this place and close the door and really focus just on you, right? The third part of this is taking baby steps and realizing every moment that every day your perfectionism is a knife that's killing you, right?
Yes.
Every day, the perfectionism is a knife that's killing you. And every time noticing the perfectionism, instead of giving into it, taking another baby step forward, right? Taking another bit, valuing everything. Sometimes I go ahead and I create something or I write something or I make this video that looks so imperfect. I'm like, oh, okay, let me just save it and we'll look at it later. I look at it a year later, I'm like, this is beautiful, right? But at the moment when I made it, it looks horrible, right? Why? Because again, perception, right? Perception is projection. So that means that if you're not feeling well, you're going to view everything like that, right? And you're going to view yourself like that, and your own productions like that, right? There's a story I always tell that there was about maybe like in late, I guess, early 2000. I think it was around that time. I was doing this group mastermind sort of like encouraging creative art type of thing. And I had just made my first guided meditation, hypnotic, transformational CD, so to speak, at that time. And I was going to play it for the first time for my group. I think I've told you this story. I was going to play it for the first time for my group. The people that were going to listen to it, and these were all like artists that were bringing in their own things, we were going to listen to it. And I was scared to death because I thought I'm going to play it. My critical self was so strong that I thought they're going to say, this piece of crap, what is this you've made? Like literally, that's how much voice was inside my head. The critical voice, but by the way, what's interesting is I was doing well, and the critical voice didn't show up until I made this piece, right? This was another unlayering of myself. So therefore, the critical voice was just like shouting until it becomes, it comes into the spotlight, so to speak. So I go ahead and I share it with this group for 10 minutes. It's a guided meditation. They listen to it and they're all quiet at the end. And I'm like opening my eyes to see, and I'm asking like, what's your feedback? And I'm thinking they're going to like definitely tell me this piece of crap is like, you really have to revise this, literally, right? And then when they opened their eyes, I saw tears, love, hugs, and several of them told me that it has changed their inner being in these 10 minutes. And I couldn't believe it, right? So many times, the gift that you have, if you never share it with anybody, you'll never know how it's perceived from the outside, even. And I think so. Therefore, I think that your first step in developing your art, your gift, whatever it is that you're putting out there, is to put it out there, right? Is to
Yeah.
put it out there and allow yourself to be seen, regardless of criticism or failure or whatever you're going to call it, and get ready to fail, and maybe you'll succeed, right? Hope
Yeah.
I think you'll succeed 100% if you get ready to fail. And I don't mean anticipate failing, but I mean be okay with it. Be okay with the fact that things are going to feel like, downwards and all that stuff, because your next project is not your final project. You have, I don't know, like 50, 100, 200 years ahead of you, right? Maybe you're immortal and you have lifetimes like ahead of you. So if you have all that ahead of you, right? And I think that a lot of people don't take the risk of being who they truly are because they think they're limited in time or failure. They think they can only fail 3 times and that's it. Like then they're going to come and pick you up and take you to a different dimension or something. So, to kind of um, help people get over this, especially those who are in the path of transformation or those who want to step into bringing more light to other people. I've created a unique comedy, a stand-up comedy combined with other types of scenes, and it's called Quantum Giggle Codes. Okay, it's where there's this
That's
lady,
very fun.
Sheila, and she keeps trying, and everything you've seen some pieces of it, right? Everything she does, she
Actually,
keeps.
are you able to share a little bit? If you're not ready, it's okay. We can skip
I
that.
could, yeah, I could see if I could bring it up and share a little piece. Sure,
If
for sure,
not, you can give me the link for sure. The
sure.
link that
It's
I can
not
put in
ready
the
for not ready
description.
for production link, but I can definitely see if I can share a little piece of it. But it's
Uh,
basically about Sheila, who's constantly, trying all these different things, and it's just not going the way she wants, but she keeps going, which is beautiful. Okay, I can share a little piece of it if you like. At
Yes.
some point or now, whenever you get the
Are
right
you
time.
ready to do now or would you like to do later?
Why don't you continue maybe
Okay.
continue talking and, on your introductions while I do a little quick
Okay.
search and bring it up. I'll be ready in a minute, okay?
So Shahin have lots and lots to bring to the table to
Yep.
help you.
Give me sharing ability. If you can make me co-host. Thank you.
When he already told you he has over 42 books, and they are all available at Amazon. Do you have them also in audiobooks?
Yeah.
Audiobook?
All of my books come with video and audio talks and audio guided meditations. It's actually done naturally instead of audiobooks.
I see. So if you don't have time to read, it's also accessible through audio. And he also, I met him in the Life Expo in Los Angeles. And that's how all started. The work he does is to unlock those limited beliefs, those beliefs that are really holding you from tapping your true power, the ones that are holding you back. And he does that through secret codes that you're going to talk more about, because the name of this podcast is Solomon Wisdom. Next, when he finds Sheila, he's going to tell us about these secret codes that he, not exactly secret anymore, that he learned and he is using to help people to connect with themselves. And for me, has been a very, very transformative journey with him. And one thing that you may be thinking is, you are spiritual. Why talk about money all the time? But I want to call your attention, that's not about money, it's about abundance. And money for itself is neutral. You depend on the use or how you think of it, that's what will make the difference. But abundance can be translated to anything that bring you happiness and fulfillment. And guess what? The frequency of abundance is the same frequency of love, the same frequency of peace and joy and health. And love is our nature, and each one of us, to connect with love, the only thing we need to do is bring our mind to the present moment. There is Shahin, Shahin again.
I'm ready to share whenever you're ready.
Okay.
I just need permission to share because
Let me give you permission. Give me a moment. Let me see. I will make you a host for a while. Okay, you can share now.
And Sylvia's coming in. All right.
Yes, actually, you can
Should I
show
start?
Sheila first, and then later on after that, and then we're gonna do Sylvia's name.
Okay. All right, let me begin. Here we go. And
My name is Sylvia, Sylwia.
Sylvia.
With a W.
That's right.
I
Sylvia.
will call you soon, Sylvia. You're gonna show something for us right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna show the comedy, the quantum giggles.
All right, I want to tell you about the healing journey of Sheila the Seeker.
Can you hear it?
Okay, so
Yeah,
meet Sheila. She's 38. She has a Himalayan salt lamp, a chakra necklace
Yes.
she got on sales at TJ Maxx, and a dream to finally heal for real this time. Not like, for real. She signed up for a 5-day online healing summit called Activate Your Quantum Inner Dolphin Codes through breath and kale. She's ready. She lights up a candle. It sets off her smoke alarm. She says, it's okay. That's just resistance clearing. Day 1, breath work and inner child. That's what they say. So she gets ready. The teacher says, go into your body. Find the first moment you felt abandoned. Sheila closes her eyes. She remembers being left a shopping cart at Kmart in 1989. She starts sobbing. She's crying until she realizes it was her. It wasn't her memory. It was a scene from Netflix that shows she watched, the show she watched last night. That's what this scene was from. So she writes in her journal, note to self, fact check trauma before crying.
Very good.
Here comes day two. Day two, Sheila attends a sound healing. She attends this live Zoom actually with a man named Falcon Lightstar who plays 17 bulls, a triangle, and one large rock. He says this frequency is tuned to the vibration of a whale in labor on Jupiter. Sheila cries again, not from the sound, but from the confusion. So day three comes and she's like, okay, forgiveness ritual. Sheila's supposed to call her ex and say, I forgive you. She calls, he picks up, she says, I forgive you. He says, for what? She ends the call with, namaste, loser. And she says, progress. Day four, shadow work. She's told to write a letter to her dark side. She writes, Dear Shadow, stop making me eat carbs after 10 p.m. Also, why do I flirt with emotionally unavailable musicians? Sincerely, seeking light and stability. I don't know, that might take a while to get that one, huh?
Amazing. Thank you, Shahin. Thank you for
Okay, so it's
sharing
day
with
five.
us.
All
And
right. So
before we move on to Sylvia's name, I just would like to tell you that is watching, you're already working on your business, in your mission. It's not that you have to throw all your gifts away, your abilities away that you gain throughout all this time. For example, I used to be an IT professional, and I use all my abilities now, making YouTube videos, working on my mission right now of spreading light to the world and knowledge. So whatever you learn, it's always be useful for you. It's never something that is a waste of time. So you always can combine, but it's just like when I left my last job, one of my coworkers, she said, you are just so good on that. I feel like you are wasting your talents. And I explained to her, no, I'm not wasting my talents. Actually, I'm redirecting my talents. So all those things that I perfected throughout my 20 years in that career on the metrics, like I like to say, I'm redirected to my mission right now. Shahin, when you are ready, you can bring the whiteboard, and meanwhile, I would like to bring in Sylvia. Sylvia, you may bring your video if you wish. If not, that's okay. You can just unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm here.
hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Shahin, how are you?
Very good. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too. Let me see if I can get the camera going. Just a moment. Okay.
All right. That seems good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what are we doing today? Tell us. Warm us up, Maria Eleonora, please.
First, I'd like to thank Sylvia for volunteer to be here in the live with us. And I'm gonna ask you to explain the Hebrew meaning of Sylvia's name.
Oh.
And just a correction, your name is SYV or W?
SYLWIA. It's
Okay.
Sylvia with a W. And yeah, I'm curious because I had my numerology and the name done a long time ago. My sister paid for the report, so I'm curious what I'm gonna learn today because this is exciting. I love things like this.
Okay, great. So just to give a little background to Sylvia, the way I do the codes, the soul code discovery through your name, is I tap into the most original essence of how the sounds and the frequencies were given from the time of creation. Okay. And creation is always and forever. We know that. But at the same time, there was a language of light that was given to let's just say the Adam and Eve codes, or through the book of Raziel, which has the names of all the angels and all of the powerful ways to tap into these soul codes. Being one of the, well, I think I'm the only one alive today that has been handed over these codes specifically from the book of Raziel. I'm able to decode at a very, very fast speed, like millions of, bits per second kind of, and see into the vibrations and sounds and elements of what you present and who you are through your name. Now, let me give you a little preview. A name is a router. So, for example, if you have your Wi-Fi and you want to connect with it, you need your router and you need a Wi-Fi code and the name of the place you're going to connect with. So your name connects you with your soul. It's like a portal, right? And with the right name, we can tap into the right essence of our soul. Okay. When the name is weak or not fully connected, or we don't understand it, it lowers the vibration of how we connect. Okay. And sometimes for some people, they don't connect at all, right? I've met a lot of people that if they were to enhance their name, understand their name, or sometimes change their name, it could have prevented death. Okay. Right. So it's really powerful. Okay. It could prevent sickness. It could prevent death. It could activate soulmate relationships, the right connection to the name, because your name is your essence. It's the router, right? It's like the key that opens up the lock. A house is bigger than a lock, and a lock is bigger than a key, but only a key opens the lock to the house. Does that make sense? Right. So your name might seem like very, very like, oh, it's just a little thing. It's just my name. I just use it socially because that's how people know me. I went through high school with that, or, but no, name means essence. So because of my vast also connection with many languages, I've mastered these languages: the Hebrew language, Aramaic language, Farsi language, English language, a little bit of Spanish. I love Spanish. A little bit of German, and Rashi, which is a language that was written by a French Kabbalist 800 years ago, who wrote in secret code languages. Okay. Rashi, Rabbi Shimon Yitzchaki, that's his name. So all of these languages, this is a unique hidden mystic language that most people don't even know exists as a language, right? So all these languages are hidden mystical languages in many ways, right? Like Rumi, for example, spoke in Farsi, like it's a poetic, deep, allegorical language, right? So by mastering all of these languages and tapping to the inner codes and having these powerful angelic teachers that appeared, I was able to help people decode who they are, decode what their essence is. Right?
Question. So let's say if that's the case, and I love what you're saying, because I also have been paying attention to people's names, and I typically, if I find someone with a unique name, I ask them to spell it for me because I'm not from here. English is my second language. So what happens is, I agree with you that the name has so much information already. And I learned about mine, that mine comes from Latin because I studied languages too. And so Sylvia comes from Silvius, which in Latin means forest-like, right? So that's pretty much like a very simple explanation. But what else? I don't know. I'm curious to find out. But do you use also last name, or can it be just the first name? Does the middle name matter? Because I have first name, last name, middle name, and then last name. So I don't know.
I use first name, middle name, and any given spirit names.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any other?
Would you like to type on the chat your full name for him? And then he decides if he'll be able to do the full name or not.
Shahin, what is the smartest way to do? Because, this podcast will be watched by thousands of people. So for privacy protection, is it best to give you maybe first name, middle name, and maybe I can do
I don't need last name. I just need your first name. I never need the last name. I just need your first name and middle name, or any other spirit name that you have.
Okay, so let me write this down for you.
And you can just say it also as you write it.
Yes, let me see. Appear to chat. Okay, I'm
While
going
to that, Sylvia, from it is a Polish form of Latin name, right? Sometimes with the Y, sometimes with the I, and then in her case, she has a W in there, right? there's variants of it, like in Italian, Spanish, German, Portuguese.
You are able to show your whiteboard if you want.
Just a moment. I'm typing in. So I put down Sylvia Magdalena, so my first and middle name, and then I have Saraswati, which is the name I've been using while doing my sound therapy. Oh, can you hear me or?
Yes, all good.
I'm trying to go back to seeing you. Okay, now I can see you. So I've been doing. Oh, I cannot see you. Why not? That's strange. Oh, now I can see. I've been doing sound therapy, and I also did tarot readings and a little bit of basic astrology. So, I mean, numerology, I dabbled tiny bit. So, like I love these things. And I'm not a professional in these. I only professionally did sound therapy and tarot readings. But yeah, that's why I use Saraswati as my nickname or kind of alias for my work.
Saraswati.
Can you write down Saraswati also, like you did?
Yeah.
I see that. Okay, so Sylvia Magdalena Saraswati. Okay, so just a quick overview, and then we're going to delve into it. We're going to delve more into Sylvia today, just because we have limited time, because each one has a world of its own. Okay, but a lot of people don't know, what does it mean, Magdalena, right? A lot of people don't know, right? What does it really mean? In Hebrew, the word Magdalena comes from Megadalena. Okay, it means the one who helps you grow. Okay, Gadol. Let me give you a little story about this. This is really interesting. The word Gadol in Hebrew means adult or big, or Gedula means greatness. Okay, but it's also used like if a child grows up from let's say they're 10 years old and now they're 20, we call them, Vayigdal Hayeled, and the child grew up. Okay, so to speak. Now, in Arabic, also, there's similar words to it. In Farsi, there's Aramaic, right? I'm a universalist, so I kind of tap into all of them. English is a little bit farther from the reality or the truth of what we see in things, right? It's the farthest, actually, from the reality of the words, right? The Middle Eastern words are much more closer to the essence of things, okay? In fact, there's a story that when the world was, the current world was created, the creator told Adam Kadmon, Adam, the original primordial Adam and Eve, go ahead and name all of the animals according to their essence, right? And so Adam gave names to all the animals. And let's take dog, for example. He called it Kelev, okay? And Kelev means, literally in Hebrew, it means like the heart, the mirror of the heart. So you see that the actual Hebrew essence words resonate exactly with the consciousness of that which is in front of you. So it's not a made-up word. What does dog mean? We don't know. I mean, somebody just called it dog, right? But not in the Hebrew, and not also in many Eastern languages. Each letter has a numerical value, right? And there's connections with this and all that stuff. So Megadalena, or Magdalena, okay, comes from the word to help someone grow, to help someone mature at a spiritual level, okay? Now, there's a story that it says, this is actually written in the Bible, in the Hebrew. When you look at the Hebrew codes in the Bible, it's very different than when you read the English, because the English is corrupt, right? The English is basically, it's like taking HTML codes and trying to write them out in English. It's not going to work, okay? It is a vibration, sequential coded document that functions all in one zone. So even the words look like they have white space and broken down, but they're all one. All the million words are one whole being. Okay. There's a story that says, Vayigdal Moshe vayetze el Echav. It says that Moses, when he was a slave, well, he was watching his brothers as slaves, or his brothers and sisters as slaves, and he was in the house of the Pharaoh coming in and out. He grew up, it says Vayigdal Moshe, he grew up and he went to help his brothers and sisters, right? So the great Kabbalist Rashi asks a question. He says, wait a minute. Why does it say he grew up and he went and helped his brothers? The words that it uses is Vayigdal, the same word as Magdalena, right? It doesn't seem like it's saying he was 10 years old and now he's 25 and he went out to meet his brother. No. he actually had a growth in consciousness, and as the result of that is that you end up going to help your brothers and sisters. That's just the result of growth in consciousness. The moment you have a growth in consciousness, you end up wanting to now give that light off. That's how you know that you've had a growth in consciousness, because now your cup is pouring over and you can't wait. You want to share this love, right? But now you have another. The other challenge that comes in is what happened to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who lived at the same time as Jesus, okay? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai went into a cave for 12 years because the Romans wanted to kill him, okay? In the same Romans that killed Jesus wanted to kill him, right? So he went into a cave, and in that cave, he revealed all the codes of Adam and Eve, and all the codes of the Zohar, and all the codes of the Kabbalah, and all the codes of the secret strings of the universe and all the multiverse inside these writings called the Book of Zohar in the language of the Aramaic, which is very difficult to decode, okay? Which, for those of you who want to delve deeper, I've taken on a task of translating as much as possible, at least the literal understanding of it, plus the secret codes into English and Farsi. This is a big endeavor because it is more than 20,000 pages of writings, okay? So let's tap deeper into this. He goes into this cave, and inside this cave, he gets all these revelations, and he starts to have this massive growth that's happening. And he comes out of the cave after 12 years. And when he comes out of the cave after 12 years, this brings us back, by the way, to Maria Eleonora's first question about abundance, money, and people that feel like they're wasting their lives on just petty matters. And how do we get out of 3D so we could really deal with the real stuff, right? So he comes out after 12 years. And when he comes out, he can't stand people because he had a revelation experience, and everything he sees is so superficial now, right? It's so superficial that he feels that he's like fainting. He's like, he can't take it, right? So he sees people going to work all day long, like we see in today's world, people going to work literally all day long, right? And he's like, and he can't take, he has judgment. That's all he has, right? He looks at people and he's like, he's throwing them literally fire of judgment, and it's actually hurting them, okay? So he goes to sleep and he has a revelation from God, so to speak. And God says to him, you need to go back to the cave for 1 more year. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, I just said 12 years. He's like, no, 1 more year. This 1 year, you're going to learn how to deal with people that are not at the consciousness level that you are. Okay. So he goes back in 1 more year to train how to be not of this world, not in this world, but of this world, but still be in it. Right. And in that 1 year, he gets a revelation that the only way that you can achieve the highest light possible in this physical universe is to actually uplift the physical chaos, right? That means even if you were to die and become an angel, you don't achieve light if you do this immediately. You have to deal with the task at hand, the obstacle course that's in front of you, right? That's the only way to get out of your comfort zone and produce light. So what seems so trivial in the physical world is actually one of the only ways to produce light, right? Which is to go beyond the comfort zone of what's standing right in front of us and to have a breakthrough. Okay. All right. This is, by the way, what I just said right here is the deepest trauma and the question and the quest of most people. It's like, why do I have to deal with this? If I could just leave my body, right? Why should I even stay in the physical world? Well, the news from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is that you cannot achieve light if you're already here. The only way is to finish the contract through the obstacle course, right? So there's no escape. There's no suicide escape. There's no, I'll take this drug and I'll go into this other place and come back, and you still have to deal with reality the next morning when you wake up. You got to look at reality, and you got to shape your world in a way around you that makes the obstacle course sweeter than the escape. You guys get that? Okay. So if you make the escape sweeter than the obstacle course, you've actually caused yourself damage. Okay. Now, how do we do that? I mean, you know, obviously this is why I created programs like Soul Code Discovery, Quantum Active Healer for people who are already stepping into the path of healing. They want to go to the next level. It's like a 16-month program. How to do it, how to reach out to people, how to connect with people, how to stand here and talk for an hour like without any scripts, right? How? It has to come obviously from within, right? It can't be like just flying around. So how do you get centered to be able to do that, right? So turns out that every moment in your life, your true decisions are not really decisions. Your true decisions are which multiverse, parallel universe, or the movie in the cineplexodian state are you going to experience? Not so much what you're going to do, it's how you're going to react to first of all, which parallel universe you're going to enter every minute and how you're going to react to it. That's really your choice, right? That's really the choice that we have. So,
Shahin,
yes.
I think we're going to invite you to come back another time because we have so much to talk about. Maybe just for the matter of time, maybe we want to go ahead and talk about Sylvia's name.
Okay, sounds good. Well,
And you were invited to come back another time.
This whole thing was an introduction to her name, so that's why I went into it.
Yes, I know.
We will go right into her name, though.
I
So
want to say something. Thank you for these stories, because this has been very interesting that you felt compelled to talk about these things. It's very useful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we start off with Magdalena, right? Magdalena, which is the growth, right? That is her name. This whole story is all about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we see from here, just to get back, since Maria is reminding us to get back to the center point, is we see from this that the growth of Magdalena, right, that your name is, your middle name, comes from the essence of acceptance of what is growth. And the essence of acceptance of what is growth is the acceptance of being in this world and making the obstacle course sweeter than the escape. And that is the answer to your name. Okay, that's number one. Now I want to tap into, since we have a little more time, I'll tap into Sylvia, okay, because I think that's a combination, powerful piece. And by the way, if you want, Sylvia, Magdalena, if you want to go much deeper than these, there's personal sessions that I do, okay? And if you want to go to a place where you'll turn this into, like, for example, unique breath codes that go back all the way to the elements of these things, there's much higher levels to this. But today I will cover information enough so that you can get a broad perspective. And for other people that are watching this show to get an idea that there is many facets of tapping into the name through this method, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to share the screen with you because I want to show you something I wrote about your name. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is how we would write your name, okay, in the original ancient language. Okay, we'll call it the language of light because 70 languages came from this, okay? The first letter is the se or the S sound for the Sylvia, and the little dot in the bottom is the E sound there. And that se or S sound spells 60, okay? So you'll notice that you have a lot of even numbers in your name. Spells 60. In other words, the numerical value, sacred geometry for that is 60. Then 30. If you add all of these up in your name, you will get the letter, you would get the number 111, which is pretty interesting, right? You'll get the number 111, which adds up to 3, which is trine, okay? Now, in Kabbalistic wisdom, the 3 represents the 3-column system. That means the right, the left, the central, okay? The power of sharing, power of receiving, and the balance between the two. All healing comes from this, and all sickness comes from avoiding this. Avoiding the balance of receiving and sharing and getting into that perfect balance. I have met a lot of people that will, that say, I give so much, how come I'm not doing well? And I've met a lot of people that say, I receive so much love, how come I'm not doing well? The answer is always central column. Where's the balance? Can you do both in perfect union, right? Okay. So in between your name, if we were to work with that name, it has the words Levi, okay? Levi means those people in charge of the spirit in the world that bring light through song, okay, to the world. It also comes from the word love. In the English language, love actually comes from the word lev, which means heart, and also Levi in the Hebrew language, which is pretty interesting. The last two letters of your name is Ya, the Yud and the Hey. Okay, the Ya, Yud represents divine masculine energy in the Force, in Godhead, or in the Tetragrammaton, and Hey represents divine feminine energy. That's why, for example, you'll find that people say the word hallelujah, right? Hallel means total gratitude. Yah means the divine feminine masculine energies. So Silvia has all of those energies in there and comes out to the numerical value of 3. So you should definitely study the life path called Life Path 3. Okay. It turns out to be also that the first letter called Samech, which means protection or reliance, okay, is also the letter that created the month of Jupiter, the month of Sagittarius, okay, which is all about the ring of protection, okay, holding the energy internally.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the letters have meanings. I'll quickly go through it. The second letter, the L sound, is about learnings and teachings. Okay. The third letter, the W or the V sound, okay, is about connecting the 99% to the 1% reality. So the flawless universe to the physical obstacle universe of duality. The fourth letter is we already talked about, and the fifth we already talked about. So that's a little introduction. There's now a breath code, stages of life, and how to combine this with Tetragrammaton, the Godhead's name, so that you could achieve unlimited abundance and beautiful relationships. There's a lot more to this that I can't do instantaneously, but that's a little bit more into that if we were to go into it. Okay.
So
any thoughts?
Yes. S, why? I know you explained S. Did you talk about why, or why somehow is maybe it collapses in this written out?
Yes, it collapses in this because the Hebrew language has it. Well, we did talk about the Y. The Y is the Y sound.
Okay.
Yes, we did. So now I do have a recommendation for you. Okay. And this is because we said that, let me go ahead and share the screen for you here. Because we said that, the forest, right? The forest element in your name, right? Like, for example, so when we say the name Sylvia, we're talking about, a woman of the forest, of the woods, it doesn't, it's like, it's a unique energy, okay? And the most connected name with a meaning that was first given, okay? That was first given from the divine light to the angels, right? That means the same thing in its most original language of light is Ya'ara, okay? And here's how. Ya'ara. Okay?
Ya'ara. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Ya'ara, it's a honeycomb, right? It still has to do with the forest. It has to do with the woodlands, right? And that is the closest thing that resembles it. Okay. So she who is from the forest. Okay. However, the word Ya'ara also has the power in there of awakening to the next level. Okay. So it's like the lady from the forest that awakens to the next level, which is very combined with the Magdalena. Okay. So that's like literally 1% of what we can do in this short time with the name. The rest becomes more living aspects of breath codes and elements and guided meditations that go along with your essence of who you are and what you're doing and your life's purpose. And may I ask, what month are you born?
August.
August, so you're Leo? Okay, awesome.
I'm actually the end of August, so I'm Virgo.
Okay, all right.
But I do have ascendant in Leo, and I have my moon is in Leo, so I have a lot of Leo.
I see more Leo in you, but that's how the ascendant is. It shows that. So, the name also has combinations together with the astrological zones, okay? Because each letter of the name is one of the fire, earth, water, air elements. So that goes deeper, it goes much deeper, obviously. But for the sake of time, that's the basic information. Feel free to connect with me if you would like to book a session we can do like a deeper breath coach session, a guided meditation meant for you and your name, or to rename you into this aura combination to make it much deeper for your download essence. Okay, now I'll leave the floor again with Eleonora. Let's see what we're
I
going to do.
just want to reflect on what you just said. So it really is interesting that you've mentioned this Magdalena, that it is the one who helps other people to grow. Because I have done this for my siblings and for my kind of immediate family when I was very young. So I didn't have typical childhood. And then I think you've mentioned something about having rings of protection. And that's another thing that I've always felt since I was very young, that basically that I have protection, that I have somehow I was always very spiritual and connected to, I believed in God from the beginning, and I somehow, it was important. Spirituality and connection with God and some entities that were protecting me was very important since very young age. So thank you for this. Was amazing. This was really, wow, this is really interesting.
Great, super. I'm glad that you gained from it. And for those of you
I would like to connect with you after this podcast, because I feel, it would be interesting to see how much you can actually insight you can receive from your name, and like for around like right now what's happening and for the future, it would be interesting.
Great, super, yes. And for those of you who want to connect and other people watching the show, I'm sure Maria will provide some information there.
I have a question for you, Shahin.
Yes.
Are you going to have give any promotion to whoever watch this podcast?
Would you like me to give? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Anybody watching the like, I'm just gonna throw some gifts here. Anybody watching the podcast that sends me an email, okay, that Maria will share, but just I'll say the email to Jedi. Right, Jedi Journey, JEDIJOURNEY 42 at gmail.com, Jedi Journey 42 at gmail.com. Anybody that sends an email to that with the subject, please give me my gift from Maria's show. Okay. I will send you my book called Divine Prescription for Life. Okay. It is a very powerful book to help you discover your life's purpose. It is not a $10 book. It's a $250 book that's sold on Amazon. It comes with MP3s and guided meditations and videos. It's a whole course. That gift you will get, anybody that comes from Maria's thing and mentions that in the email. Also, if you feel you have a calling to step into your healing abilities, whether it's for yourself or to share it with the world, and you want to help others, you're slightly awakened in consciousness and you don't know the next step, we will, based on a little interview I'll do with you, if you're a right match, we will provide you with one powerful quantum healer session in the group healing session that we do every week, one time, to see if it's a good match. And from there, you can come across continuation. So those are the two gifts. Together, these gifts come out to about $1,000, So that's
very generous of you.
For Maria's, Eleonora, because I really believe in what she's doing. And I love the fact that she's taking the time to get to know all these great people on her show. And when I met her, she said to me, you know what? I'm going to be your #1 student. I'm going to really follow through. And it was like so inspiring to watch her take everything to the next level. And I'm like, wow, she's really serious. So I'm serious.
It's enough say from Maria's show, say the Awakening Path show. So it will be easy to identify.
Yes, the Awakening
Path show.
Yeah, thank you for correcting that.
So Sylvia, thank you very much for volunteer to be here with us. And I know you gained something very valuable from this experience too. And Shahin, for your generosity to be here sharing your knowledge with us.
Absolutely.
Kind of run out on time. And I heard that you speak Spanish. So before we do another in English, if you are open to, I'd like to invite you now to have one in Spanish with me. Would you be open to do that?
Say again, you're not even Sylvia.
I would like to do a podcast with you in Spanish.
Oh, my Spanish is not that good.
Oh. I'm sure you can. Mine is not that good either.
but yours
And
is
people
probably
can understand.
I understand Spanish, but I can't really speak it fluently.
Oh, okay, that's okay. When you
So,
improve it, we
but
do.
you know what? I'll do something else with you, and this
Okay.
is for everyone watching. I think it'll, especially if you're Spanish speaking and you feel your native tongue really speaks to you, is periodically what I will do is take some of the teachings and the guided meditations that I am translating from the Zohar and the other mysticism books and angelic books, and I will have one of my translators make it into Spanish and give it to you to also quickly look at it, and maybe you could share it with some of your people.
Oh, that would be great, Shahin. I can even create a playlist just for that.
Yes, that's
Spanish knowledge from Shahin, that's how
yes.
you call.
And since you're
And maybe
yeah,
you can do to Portuguese also.
that's right. If so, what are the languages that you speak well, Maria Eleonora, besides English?
Portuguese and Spanish. And that's my YouTube channel is those three languages.
So what we can do is I can go ahead and take certain manuscripts that very few people have access to, have it somewhat translated to English and Spanish and the Farsi that I'm doing. We'll give it to you to look at it. Maybe we can have a podcast where I will speak about it in English and you will reiterate it in Spanish also for people to understand.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Great, because
Yes, I would be
really
love to do that with you.
sisters that are Spanish speaking, I think they have very deep souls in wanting to connect with us.
Let me just explain to everybody that's watching the importance of this. All this knowledge that Shahin is bringing to us, it's come from the original sacred script. I asked him, I want to get a Bible, a Hebrew Bible that was not touched, that's original, that has everything there without any manipulation, without add or removed. And the interesting thing about the English translation is when they did the translation, they removed it, they added, they did a lot of stuff, and then they put it there. Do not, it's forbidden to add or modify. But they already had done. For them, it was okay to do it, but don't dare do it. So I found that very interesting.
Right, and most people don't know. So that was very important what you just said. Most people don't know that the English material that's turned into a little novel that they're reading that they call Bible, so to speak, right? Or any later commentaries are not from the original codes. And that's why people are so angry. And that's why people hate religious people a lot of times, is because it's become religion instead of true connection with the light, right? So I'll say this, and maybe we can end with this. A lot of people find themselves in the middle of this path that, okay, I hate religion, okay, I hate politics, so I'm gonna either have no connection with the light or God, or I'm gonna go towards some other healing thing like yoga or whatever is universal that has no name of God, so to speak, right? That's one way to do it. But I want to tell you this: if you release and heal the anger of the past couple of thousand years of the misuse and abuse of religion towards these translated false entities, which are idols, and then tap into the original codes, the true codes that were never changed and not altered, you'll find that all the healing that you ever wanted is right there.
Exactly. And just yesterday, I had a podcast with Tina Louise Spalding. She channels Jesus, and I asked this question to Jesus.
Mhm.
Please give us a message to the people that are so bounded by organized religion. Which path they should go when they realize that the religion that they so worship doesn't have their best interest. So one way is to go to the secret codes, but actually those secret codes are also imprinted inside each one of us.
That's right.
It's already imprinted inside each one of us. So you can also go straight inside, really go inside, meditate, pay attention, bring your mind to the present moment.
That's right.
All the answers that you need lies in your connection to the divine part of you. It's
Yeah.
all about you.
All of these codes are to reawaken what's already inside you. It's a mirror of what's inside you. And in truth, we don't need anyone, right? We don't need Jesus or Moses. We can truly tap into the divine light inside ourselves, right? And in my case, I always go straight to the source. I always ask the Yud Ke Vav Ke, the Tetragrammaton, the source, the divine name that was revealed to me, the ultimate source that created it all, right? Including all prophets and all regular channelers and people, and just directly connect with that, right? And it's right inside us. So what she's saying is really powerful, direct connection. But at the same time, I want to say that for most people in the beginning, this deep direct connection is a little bit foggy, right? And it's like the window has a lot of soot and grime, and it needs clearing. So what we do is we come in here and help you first get rid of all the traumas and all the things that are getting in the way of you tapping into this direct connection. And the second level of the trauma is many times people get rid of a lot of the traumas and now they want to tap in, and now they have religious trauma, right? Religious trauma is a big trauma because it's been 2,000 years of excruciating false information and politically manipulative elements and religiously manipulative elements and killing for God's name. And so you'll find that if you think that you've gotten over that, you haven't. If you think, oh, I just put it all away, now I'm just going to focus on yoga, you haven't really put it all away, because it doesn't just go away. It's like telling someone, here is water, okay? And they're like, oh, I love it. Can I drink some water? Sure. You come to drink water and you realize they poured poison in it, okay? Now you're like, oh my God, I can't. So I'm going to put away all water altogether. Right? That's what happened to humanity. Right? You can't avoid the source of water, which is the true divinity and the word of God inside you, just because somebody poisoned the water. You have to avoid the poison on that person's way of doing things, not the water itself. But all of humanity has avoided the water now because it's been presented as poison one or two times and they got hurt. Another thing that happened is the same thing is true with astrology. If you go to any religious entity like Christianity and Islam and even sometimes Judaism, you'll ask them what do you think of astrology? Like astrology is it's like soothsayers and everybody's out, right? But the interesting thing is that if you know how to correctly work with astronomy and the energy centers, they're a big fabric of all the Word of God, right? For example, the first teaching that God gave Moses was "HaChodesh hazeh yeh lachem rosh kol chadashim," that the new moon of Aries shall be the beginning of all seed level of months for you. That's one of the 613 commandments, so to speak, that you must pronounce the new moon of Aries as the beginning of all months of the masculine energies. Hello, how do you now all of a sudden get rid of all astrology in your church, right? How?
That's very
Right?
interesting.
But these are things we can, tap into at deeper levels at some point.
I want to mention something since I did tarot readings professionally.
Yes.
The tarot cards reflect the scenes from the Bible, and pretty much there's a lot of embedded Christianity into tarot cards. Yet somehow, I don't know why, Christians typically think that somehow doing tarot or astrology is bad or negative or somehow some bad energy. And they have no idea that, like you say, since the beginning of time, it has been very deeply embedded into the spirituality and the whole concept of, worshiping God. So it's interesting how this gets corrupt over time, and then people say, oh, this is witchcraft, this is bad, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't associate with people. It's like, no, actually it's a science. It's a math based science. If you look at things, how things work together, there's a reason why you have all this imaging in Christian churches and in tarot cards. It's all very meshed, like it just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, what you're saying is exactly, this is one of the big controversies. And that's what I'm here to help people resolve, to help people get a true perspective of these divine codes so they can have a true perspective in this forest without being, ran over all the time. And so that's I think that's a really key
Yes.
thing.
And I did a video a while ago, maybe a year ago, that I explained, is tarot good or bad? I really explain everything, how it works, what is behind the tarot. I'm gonna connect to this video also if you guys want to learn more about. And it was really a pleasure to have both of you here today. And Shahin, I just need to have you back
Oh, thank you.
because we have so much thing to talk about. I think my public will really benefit from our interaction. My public is main people that are starting to wake up, must have another way. What's the other way? And that's the main reason why I bring those guests to my podcast. So when they realize that the other systems of the matrix is crumbling, they have an outlet. They have something to look forward. Let's say, okay, which Eleonora's guest can help me with this problem? You're gonna find there. If you go to my website, theawakeningpath.me, the referral page, there is a lot of professionals there. I refer all the main books that I read that's really helped me expanded my awareness. It's all there. And I want to here also invite Sylvia to come to my podcast. You can let me know when you're ready. The doors are open for you. You have a lot of light and wisdom and gifts to share with this community also.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I feel like what you're doing is really amazing. And when you said that everybody can tap into their own light, I feel this is very true. And at the same time, though, I feel like we were created to connect with one another. And that's why your work, what Shahin is doing, I feel like we need community of people who think alike, who follow certain pathways of thought and who want to explore things, because it's okay to do things by yourself. I think in this modern world, we do a lot by ourselves. But when you actually have a community of people that do something a little bit different, or maybe, I don't know, something similar, then it's much easier to practice and to, continue. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. That's great. You speak very well, Celia.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was mute. Shahin, do you have a departure message for us?
Yes, sure. I would say I love what Sylvia just said. So that's beautiful to stay connected, because in the coming years, especially with so much AI and so much, so many people working their intellect through a machine, one of the biggest things that we need is staying grounded to our ultimate essence, we can call it root chakra, in Kabbalah we call it Malchut, right? Staying really grounded, staying connected with nature, staying connected with people, hugs, holding love, holding hands, being together. These things can really save us from falling into the trap of becoming, like she just mentioned, like a separate individual who's just like becoming dysfunction from the connection to humanity. So that's a very, very powerful piece. I really recommend everyone to be very careful about escaping that through the pleasures, so to speak, of quick information.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. That's very, very enlightening. That was like an amazing podcast and conversation. And last week, I'm being guided to create light workers community. And I think yesterday we gathered the first 6. Sylvia wasn't there, through an automatic writing workshop that I did. And I'm here extending the invitation to you to be part of this community. And the main idea is really to have, we can start like just together and really speak from our heart without the fear of being judged. That's a really, really great thing that we can meet online, maybe twice a month or more. And also we can help each other to really get the word out when we're creating any program. That's another way. And then we can think about what's really we can do in this community to each other. But that's what I'm being strongly guided to do. And Shahin, again, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the generosity of your gift. That's amazing. And I really encourage each one of you to send an email to Shahin. It's in the description of this live. Send an email to him. Just say, I'm here. I'm sending an email in the name of the Awakening Path. And I wanted to have a session about my name. So, and what do you offer for me? Oh, and also I'm here to claim my book.
That's right.
That you show on the show.
Yes, definitely get your $1,000 gift. Yes.
Yes. Well, we could speak forever. We're about 1 hour and a half. Thank you so much. There was lots of wisdom in this 1 hour and a half, and much love and light for each one of you. And see you next time.
Thank you, Maria Eleonora. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
I just oops. Okay, I just disconnected the